Hello and welcome to another episode of my Wild Knitting Podcast. Today I have a lot of spring knitted finish objects and work in progress projects, so buckle up and let's start. Okay, welcome. Spring is officially here. It's April 2023 and I cannot believe it. Spring is here. It has been such a tough winter for me. Incredibly tough. But welcome. For those who just stumbled across this channel, welcome. I hope you'll enjoy the content here. And we don't share only about knitting, we share about the different type of crafts, and we're trying to learn the art of land reliancy, self-reliancy, trying to make the things that we need and source some of the things that we need locally, and it's a work in progress journey, and we're enjoying it. With we, I mean me and my partner and two polar bears, our dogs. We live in the center of Italy. We moved here 1.5 years ago, and we live on the hills in almost mountains, and it's a very wild and beautiful region around here, and we're enjoying ourselves and also struggling sometimes. Yeah, we had a tough winter and now it is spring. Yeah, spring always catches me in awe. It's just wonderful. And I am like spring. I feel like I'm a spring child. I'm as warm and blossoming and in constant renewal and moody and weird and unique as spring. What season are you? But I guess I am all seasons. We are all probably all seasons, and we change all the time with seasons as well. Enough with talking. We're going to dive deep into the nitty-gritty the knitting projects. We start with the finished objects. I have one. I'm wearing one. Should I start with this one? This was a quick project. I finished it in 2 days. I needed a hat, like a spring hat, and I had this merino fingering way yarn in my stash, and I thought, why not knitting an Oslo hat by Petite Knit? So here it is, and this is just one of my favorite patterns in general, because it's so it's just pure stockinette, so nice. And I actually got inspired by Ali from the Ali in Sweatpants podcast, my friend. She inspired me to knit more this hat in general, this pattern, and not only this hat. She has knitted this pattern before, and every time she shows the finished objects, I'm just chef kiss. So I decided to make one as well. And I've knitted this pattern twice before with a merino and silk blend by Townhouse Yarns. It's an indie dyer in Dublin, based in Dublin, a little company. And to be honest, I have some mixed feelings with merino wool. I think that is nice only hear me here, only when blended, mixed, spun with other fibers. Otherwise, it peels so much, and it's just yeah, I think it's nice with other fibers, especially silk and, maybe linen, rami. I'll show you some yarns that I got. So this is 100% merino, and I've knitted it probably 3-4 days ago, and it started to peel already. I mean, you don't really see it, but just a little bit. It's merino is kind of like a soft yarn, so that's also the nice thing, but I'm not sure I like it so much. But as I said, blended with other fibers, I think is nice. Before blocking, it kind of held some sort of shape. It had some integrity. It was kind of like holding together, and it was a bit smaller. And then I soaked it in water and blocked it, and it stretched so much. It's really like drapey now, and probably it's also my fault because I used one strand of fingering weight instead of two, as the pattern recommends. So probably it's that the cause of the stretch, but I mean, I cannot really complain so much because it still fits well, and it's a spring hat. So I like it. I think it's nice. I'm looking at myself, but it is nice. It is nice. I'm happy with this finished object. Let's go to the second finished object. This, I actually finished it a month ago, something like that. And this is the big rib sweater by Jessie Made Designs. And I've knitted this as part of a Knitalong that I'm hosting together with Malene from the Nomad Knitter podcast or YouTube channel. I love her content. Go and check her out and support her because it's just so nice. Her content is just so wholesome. So go and support her. But yeah, she's knitting this new Jessie Made Design pattern, and I love it. I wore it so much, like too much. And I'm wearing it. What is this? There is an end coming out. Let me go in again with this baby. It's almost embarrassing how much I wore this almost every day, and it's the perfect patterns for spring because it's knitted with at an open gauge, not so open, but you can use different type of yarns. I think a DK yarn is the recommended yarn, but you can combine different yarn weights and yarns in general, and as long as you get gauge. I think I used needle size 5.5 millimeters or 6, something like that, and yeah, that's what the pattern recommends, I think. And I used it was an expensive project, let's say, because I held 3 yarns together. Was it smart? No. Was it worth it? Yes. Because it's just so beautiful. So I had this one special skein. I saw it on the floor before. No, it's here. I had this one special skein. This is what I have left, and it was a very special, unique skein that my sister gifted me for Christmas. She lives in Ireland, in Dublin, and there's this beautiful store called This Is Knit, 100% worth it. Go and check it out if you're around there. This Is Knit has a lot of these yarns because I believe one of the owners, I'm not 100% sure, but one of the owners is one of the owners of the Townhouse yarns. So this is the Townhouse yarns Trinity 2 ply, 55% merino, 45% silk. Amazing. This is 100 grams. The yarn was 100 grams and 800 meters, and it's a laceway yarn. So I either had to find a laceway yarn project or hold it together with other yarns, and that's what I've done. I held it together with a lamb's wool. I don't remember the brand of that yarn. A white lamb's wool, organic lamb's wool yarn, and a silk mohair. So 3 yarns. But I haven't used so much yardage because, you know, it's quite a light project. But this is the color Toffee Pop. Voila. Hand dyed in Ireland, and it's just a pure pleasure. And all of these colors are such wonderful colors. I'm just in awe. So yeah, I'm very happy, and I still have quite a little bit. I think this is a bit less than 50 grams, something like that. I could use it some projects, we'll see, but it's a very, very, very close to my heart type of yarn. And I'm very happy with this. The fabric is absolutely beautiful with these little specks of colors, and it's very muted, like it's not really colorful. It's just wonderful. And the ribbing, I think I've done one modification. I've knitted this long 1x1 ribbed hem, and I splitted it just because I like the look of the splitted hem situation, and did some German short rows to kind of round the hem. And so the ribbing, the 1x1 ribbing across the neckline and the sleeves ribbing and the body ribbing, it's all ribbed, but you understood, right? The end ribbing hems, right? For that I used a light lilac, dusty lilac silk mohair, and for the rest of the body I used just a white silk mohair, chalk color, and I love it. I really love it. And it's a 4x4 ribbed pattern. You start, it's basically knitted top down. You start on the back, and yeah, it's super nice, super well written, and I love all Jessie May design patterns. She is just a wonderful designer, and we're hosting this Knitalong, which is all about knitting a pattern by her. And if you want to participate, the hashtag is Jessie Got Me Dressed Call, and you just need to knit or start a Jessie May pattern. Easy. Malene is also hosting it with me. We're co-hosters. But love it, absolutely gorgeous spring pattern. And I've worn it when it was 20 degrees Celsius outside, but also when it was kind of snowing, very cold, minus degrees Celsius, and it still kept me warm, but it's not like a super thick, of course, warm woolly garment, but it's still the perfect balance between warm and light. It's both. Enough with that, we move forward. So I've got some projects that I've finished and I sent to my sister and to my dad. So there were 2 more finished objects. One was a pair of vanilla socks for my sister for her birthday, and one was a Stockholm sleepover for my dad. I think I've shown those finished objects or patterns somewhere in my videos. You can check it out. I'm feeling lazy. So I don't have them here. But yeah, I finished those 2 projects as well. And I have some finished objects here that I'm just showing you like this quick peek. I'm not gonna talk about this project, this specific project that I just shown, and 2 more other projects, because those are part of a little series, The Silky Way, which is a series about cruelty-free silk yarns. And I just explore what it means to knit with cruelty-free silk yarns. I buy different cruelty-free silk yarns and I test them. I make objects and garments such as this one. This is the camisole number 5 by My Favorite Things Knitwear, heavily modified. And I think I'm gonna talk about it, about this project. I have also WIP that I'm finishing with cruelty-free silk yarn. And I'm gonna talk about this project in my next episode, which is going to be the final episode of the series. And if you want to check out the other 3 episodes, you can go to my channel, subscribe, wait for the 4th one, do what you like. But yeah, I'm not withholding the informations or garments from you. I just want to talk about them more extensively and thoroughly in that episode. So you shall wait for that. Okay, I think we're done with finished objects. We have those silky projects, and we start with the work in progress projects. I have been neglecting some projects as usual. I kind of paused knitting on this beautiful cardigan. This is the cardigan Agnete cardigan by Petite Knit. Is a brioche cardigan that I've started knitting 1.5-2 months ago, something like that. And I just love it, but I kind of prioritized other projects. I kind of put it on hold because the beautiful sunny days and the warm days started. Now it's cold again, so maybe I should start knitting again on this. But it was so nice and warm, so I decided to prioritize the silky and camisole and summer, spring tops and patterns. And so I put this on hold, but I absolutely want to finish it at some point. I don't know if it will be this season or in autumn. We'll see. I'm not gonna frog this. This is one of my favorite garments that I ever knit because it's just so nice. And I've used beautiful yarns that I bought from Nina from the A Crafter's Tale podcast. She hand dyed this absolutely gorgeous yarn, and I bought it. She was doing a little destash, and so I bought it from her. I bought 4 skeins, I think, something like that, and I'm just enjoying it. I knitted from the last podcast episode. I've shared this project, I've shown it. I'm knitting kind of the ribbing, so I've knitted a little bit more, but I put it on hold, and we'll see if I'll finish it during this season or I'll just postpone it, but it will eventually get done at some point. Okay, I'm going to show you these ones. So let's start with this beautiful test knit. So I'm following on Instagram, I'm following the page Andie Knits. She's a designer and she was calling for test knitters for one of her latest patterns, and is a skirt. A long, beautiful DK skirt. And I just applied. I'm not really a person that does test knits, just because I'm I want to be very flexible with my knitting practices. I want to really, not following deadlines in general and all of that. But this was such a beautiful pattern that I thought, let me apply. And I applied and she accepted, and I'm part of the test knitters. That's exciting. So here's the skirt and I love it. So it has a folded waistband, and this is my first time putting an elastic inside a waistband or anything knitted, and I feel that I succeeded. And then it has some increases and this beautiful pattern, like super simple pattern repeat. And I haven't done super much, but I started it last week, so very excited. And so the yarn I'm using, let's talk a little bit about this yarn. So I had 2 skeins of this yarn in my stash. This is Drops Bell, which is here is the label. Drops Bell, which is a DK yarn, 50 grams, 120 meters, 131 yards, and it's 53% cotton, 33% viscose, and 14% linen. So I had 2 or 3 skeins of this in my stash, and I thought, let me just buy more. I could knit the entire skirt in this color, but of course I didn't have enough. I think you need quite some yardage, because the skirt is going, I mean, you can choose the length of the skirt, but I want it like under the knees length, type of length. And so I needed more of these. I don't remember how many meters you need, but I think it's about 350-400 grams for my size. I'm knitting an S, so second to the smallest size, I think. And I bought more, and I decided to buy other yarns from Drops. So here we open a little parenthesis. It's gonna be a little parenthesis, but I want to kind of talk a little bit about the fact that I've been a bit hypocritical. How do you say? Not really following through what I kind of said in the past. So I said that I wouldn't support Drops Design anymore because of their practices. Somewhere down the line of the production and the distribution, there isn't so much fairness in the payment, in the way they treat the fibers. Everything is quite cheap. It's kind of like it's not really like a fast fashion of the yarns, but I want to support companies that are a little bit more kind and ethical with their fibers, their practices, the way they treat animals or the environment, and so on and so forth. However, Drops has wonderful yarns. Some of their yarns are very nice. The Malene is one of my favorite yarns. Summer yarns is a linen and cotton blend. I bought some of those as well to make another cardigan. And the drop spell is quite nice. I'm kind of knitting with it for the first time, but I really like how it's knitting up. And yeah, they have nice yarns. That's something that I have to say. And they're affordable. And right now I'm not in the position to, get really expensive yarns. But I have to be honest that I kind of don't feel that I've kind of, followed through what I said in the past, that I wouldn't support this company. And so I feel a little bit bad. But at the same time, I don't want that shame clouds my craft, my knitting practices, and my life in general. I think that we should buy things that are ethical, and we should support projects and people that care about the environment and the animals and the people. But we should do it out of joy, out of respect, out of love, rather than out of shame, right? And if I'm doing things out of shame, it doesn't work for me. I always go back to the thing that I said I wouldn't do. And so I still stand with the fact that I would like to support, indie dyers and yarns that are, created out of with care and respect. But yeah, I want to also cut myself some slacks. And I know that some of you might be disappointed, but I wanted to be honest and talk about this. And I'm not really excusing myself. Maybe it sounds like I am. I just want to be honest and share these things with you. And I think that we're still amazing makers. We're still making clothes that we wear and our loved ones wear. And that's in and of itself ethical and kind and caring. So yeah, and I think maybe it's just an excuse, but I really think that sometimes, even if we buy things that are maybe not made out of care, we can still honor them and give that extra care by wearing them, feeling joy while we knit them. And we kind of give care where care was lacking. Is that, maybe I'm not the most eloquent person and I'm not sure I explained myself, but I wanted to discuss about that because the next project that I'm going to show you, it has another drops design yarns. So be ready. But this, love it. I'm enjoying this so much, and I hope it will look really nice on my body because it's going to be quite a long process. It's going to be a lot of fabric. I'm going to knit a lot of fabric. I'm going to have it quite long. And I think the deadline is the 29th. Yeah, it's the 29th of May. And this is the color. The color I'm using is the number 21. And it's this dusty pink. Recently, I'm riding the pink wave. I love pinks, bright, muted, light pinks. This is my favorite color at the moment. Crazy, right? I'm like a foresty, moody, brown lover. What does that make sense? Like, I love browns. I love my copper and forest green colors. But right now, give me this and I'll be happy. This is another yarn. I'm gonna talk about it very soon with my knitting plan section. But yeah, I love this. And this pattern is well written. I'm enjoying it. Good job, Andie. Or Anna, I think her is the designer name, under Anna Anderson. And yeah, love it. Okay, another whip that I'm gonna show you is a very special one. It's gonna be my Easter, I guess, themed sweater or cardigan. And it's the one is a cardigan that I'm designing, so I'm not following any pattern. And so I had some skeins of this drops kid silk in this raspberry color in my stash, and I wanted to use it. I love this color. It's not really something that I have in my wardrobe. Probably I have like one garment in this color, and it's already quite out of my comfort zone. But now, dress me in this color and I'll be over the top. I love this color. It gives me so much joy, and I just feel that I'm disobeying, kind of like my old self is dying and a new self is coming alive when I use colors that I didn't really use before. And it gives me a lot of like excitement. So I decided to when I placed the order for the test knit yarn, I decided to buy a little bit more of this Drops Flora. I've said in the past that I didn't really love this yarn because it felt quite soulless. Yeah, I've said that, and I still stand with that sentence. However, I love the finished object of these two yarns together. So in the past, I brought it here, I've knitted with those two yarns together. I've knitted this drop shoulder cropped, really nice sweater, and I'm wearing this every other day. I've been wearing this since I finished it every other day almost. It's one of my most worn pieces, and even though I didn't really love knitting with especially this yarn, the fabric, I'm here for it. So knowing that this is the fabric that comes out of these two yarns, I decided to get 4 more skeins of these. 4 more skeins of Drops Flora, and this is the color 19. And to be honest, I felt again a little bit of shame because of the reasons that I talked about before, and also because I would talk to you about this project, and I was very self-conscious. I was like, shall I talk about this project? Shall I just hide it and, not mention it so people would not judge me? Because I've said that in the past. But in the end, I want to be honest. I want to just tell the truth. And this gives me a lot of joy right now. So that's what I mean with honoring something and like giving it a lot of love when it didn't have it down the production line. So maybe that's an excuse, but I love this, and I want joy to be the main force that guides my life and my practices, my knitting practices and my practices in general, rather than shame. So this is isn't it super cute? So this is the cardigan. And I'm not sure about the buttons. I'm gonna talk about the buttons very soon, but I love this. I love the fabric. It's it's very light. I'm knitting it with needle size 5 millimeters. It's a simple raglan construction. And I just really love it. The fabric, the lightness, the drapiness, and I think I want to knit it quite long. I'm not gonna have it cropped, even though I think cropped looks very cute, but I want kind of like a drapey long cardigan. It's gonna be my disobedient cardigan for all the reasons I talked about, and also the color is quite disobeying my wardrobe, I would say, my color choices. But I love it. And the buttons. So I've made new buttons in a material that is not 100% sustainable again, but it gave me so much joy. So we had this epoxy glue resin. Mike is using it in his woodworking practices. It's quite of a strong glue. It really binds together materials such as wood and steel and metal, and it's super strong. And you can buy the clear version or the yellowish one. It doesn't really matter. I think it depends on what result you want. And I've created these very cute buttons. So these ones have a plant that I harvested in Sweden. It's a medicinal plant called Pearl Everlasting. And it's absolutely gorgeous plant. And I just placed some of the, here there are some poppy seeds and some Pearl Everlasting. However, I'm not really sure that I want this color. So I made new buttons. I'm making a batch right now, so it's drying out. But I was thinking to put something like this, like more green on the cardigan instead of the white ones. We'll see. This has some yarrow. I don't know what you can see. Has some yarrow and some ivy. I think they're very cute. And I made different sizes. So there are very tiny ones as well, which I think could also fit for this type of garment. Smaller ones. This, I love it. This is some, I think this was either lavender or some mallow, dried mallow leaves. I just love to experiment with these things. Yeah, so I made more buttons. Yeah, here there is another button that has some petals. I think it's daisy petals. But yeah, I made a new batch in different colors. So I'm gonna, before I actually decide on the buttons, I'm gonna just knit on this and kind of finish it, and then I'll try different buttons. But now I placed these two to just see how it would look. And I was thinking, yeah, to knit it quite long, kind of like under my booty length. Have it very drapey, very long, and very, this is very spring-like, I would say, because it's still warm. It has the silk mohair, but the gauge is, yeah, is quite hairy. Never know how to pronounce that word. But it's my disobedient cardigan. Love this whip. I'm here for it. Love it. Okay, I'm gonna talk a little bit, just maybe for 5 minutes, something like that, about some projects that I want to knit for this season, maybe beginning of summer. I don't have super many projects I want to knit, but I have 2 that I want to absolutely knit. So I've got this yarn. So this is the Pinta Pasquali yarn, and it's merino, rami and silk. So this has 60% virgin wool, organic merino extra fine, 20% silk, mulberry silk, so it's not cruelty free, and 20% rami. And rami, don't know the pronunciation, is in the family of nettles. So it's kind of nettle fiber. And it's the softest. It's so soft and nice. And I got 2 skeins. It looks a little bit wonky, but I already caked up one of the skeins, and I was thinking to knit. Look how pretty. Love this color. Who am I? But I was thinking to knit a camisole number 5. I've knitted a camisole number 5 once in this silk yarn, and I really liked the way it fits. I've modified it a lot, that project, but I want to knit one not really modified much. I don't know if I have enough yardage, but I could buy another skein in case I run out or knit it cropped. But I really would like to have a camisole number 5 in this color. I think it would be really nice. And I want to see how it feels on my skin, especially in the summer, because here we're in Italy is extremely hot in the summer. And I don't know how it feels to have this fiber content on the skin, but I think it's going to be okay. I think it's going to be nice and breezy, cooling, I don't know, dry. Well, love it. And this is 50 grams and 212 meters. So I have 424 meters, which I don't think is enough for the camisole number 5. But I'm still gonna knit it. Maybe knit it cropped and maybe buy another skein. It's falling apart, but yeah, I absolutely love this color and this yarn, and I think it's going to be a pleasure to knit with this. Okay, so that's a spring knitting plan, the camisole number 5 with that beautiful yarn. And then I want to knit the Corran Cardigan by Rebecca Clow. She's the designer behind the Crea Bea podcast. Love that pattern. She nailed it. It's just so beautiful. It's a all lace type of cardigan, and you can knit it short sleeve, you can knit it long sleeve, you can knit it with a round neck or a v-neck. It's still not out yet as of today. I think it's today's 3rd of April, but it will be out soon. She said it will be out in April, and I'm not in a rush, but I absolutely want to knit it at some point. So very, very excited to cast that on once it will be out, to purchase it, support that this designer. She came out with just wonderful designs, but this one speaks to me so much. So that's another knitting plan, and I want to use the Malene by Drops Design. I bought these 2 colors of the Malene, and either I do like a striped version, but I don't think so. I think I'll just knit it in this color. I was thinking, this is the color 03, and it's just a creamy, nice whitish color. This is the black one, color 16. It looks more like bluish with this light, but it's black. And yeah, I think I'll knit it with one or the other or both. We'll see. This yarn, I really like it. I've mentioned it before. This is 50 grams, 85 meters, 53% cotton and 47% linen. Like it. I love the garment that I've knitted with this yarn. It's just perfect. It's perfect, and it holds its own shape. So I'm done for today. Thank you so much for joining me in this wild ride of podcast episode. Yeah, I'm happy I talked to you and showed you the projects and the yarns. And thank you so much for being here and supporting me. And I'll see you next time.